So, the time is 8:26, and I'll ask somebody to make a motion, to come out of
I'll
executive
make
session.
that.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman Depot, seconded by Councilwoman Schulten, under discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, any opposed, motion carried. Out of executive session at 8:26. Al, when did we go in, B?
7:47.
47. Okay, so, in executive session, we discussed some property that we own. And with the vice attorney, we were gonna move forward, with a plan of action on a certain piece of property. So Dan, I'm gonna have you go.
What, you asked me, if, we have any real property that we want to sell, what the process would be. The first thing you have to do is declare that the property is no longer of any use or value to the town, you don't have a town purpose for it. That's done by resolution. You also would have to have an appraisal done, or in lieu of an appraisal, you could get a realtor who's familiar with property values to give you his or her opinion. But in this case, I would recommend you get an appraisal. An appraisal will give you the value of the property. Town law 64-2, I think, mandates that you get the highest and best value of the property, for the property. So the appraisal will tell you what theoretically the property is worth. Then I would recommend that you advertise it for sale.
Okay.
And then, when you get, interested people, you pick whom you wanna sell for the highest price you can get. Any sale subject to permissive referendum, so when you determine, you have a buyer for the property, and you determine a price, then you would pass a resolution, accepting it, subject to permissive referendum.
Then they have 30 days.
Then what happens is it's published in the paper 10 days after the resolution, and then within 30 days, if any townspeople wish to have that put on the ballot as a proposition, then they would have to bring a petition signed by, I think it's 5% of the people who voted in the last gubernatorial election. That's-
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's done when you have a special election. So basically, you have an appraisal, declare it no longer of any town necessity. Negotiate and find a buyer, if you have a buyer. Get all your ducks in line, and then pass that resolution subject to permissive referendum.
Okay, so tonight we have to do a resolution authorizing, or saying that it's no longer of use to us, and then we have to do a resolution authorizing you to put it out for advertised property for sale, or no?
No, tonight, what I would do is have a resolution, to, secure the services of an appraiser.
Okay.
To appraise the property, so we get its value.
Okay,
And I would say the rest, we'll put all the rest in one resolution.
so we wanna move that we, okay, do we have to state the property that we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
The property is, well, you can say.
The property is the location of the parking lot next to the El Civil Force Ambulance Garage. We own, looks like somewhere between a quarter and a half of that parking lot, and that's what we're looking at.
And it's an additional, in addition to that parking lot, though, it's all the property,
Right, and Tommy, it might say on one of them, it's 4.5 acres.
yeah, 4.5 acres. And I don't know if there's a tax map.
7.76-3-63.100.
Perfect. So that's the property we're interested in unloading, because it's no longer of any use to the town.
Okay, so somebody wanna move that?
I'll second. I'll move that.
You moved it, Councilman Depot, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he moved it. Who's the second? I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Schultz, on the discussion. We need a roll call on this, Dan? Put the property up, no? All in favor, signify by saying.
Appraisal.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carried, so we're putting it out, we'll get, hire an appraiser to appraise the,
And Amy will get me a few names.
okay,
I'll make sure you get him for a second
the
one.
value of the property, let's put it out.
Or,
Okay,
you know, really, if you wanna save time, if you wanna do it, if you're there, just call these appraisers, tell them we want the baseline, basic appraisal, we just wanna know what the property's worth.
Okay.
Nothing you know, not like an appraisal that you would get for, an Article 7 real property certiorari challenge, where you're gonna get 25 pages of everything. Just a basic executive's survey, or, appraisal,
Okay,
so that we know what the value of the property is.
all right. I'll give them your phone number too.
Oh, and you could give, yeah, but then we
Your
get.
phone number, or I can give you their phone numbers.
Yep, either way, okay,
Either way.
okay.
I'm gone to E-Town
Right.
at 9:30. I won't be back until later. It'll be noon before I get back.
Okay, that sounds good. All right.
Okay. Everybody good? That's all we need to do on that, right? All right, do we have anything else? Chris, do we have anything that you need Dan for? I don't think there's anything else that we need Dan for. I don't see anything else, Dan.
Okay. So next meeting, I'll have that new resolution for the ban.
Okay.
So we do that now, and get that away, and not have to worry about it again.
Okay. All right. Okay, anybody have anything for Dan? You're free to go, drive safe, Dan.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. You're feeling better, Chris.
Thanks, Bud.
All right, so we're moving right along.
Sorry.
We got page one right there, we got it.
That's not small, by the time you guys-
feel good. Yeah, page.
Yeah.
See it.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for leaving that behind. All righty.
I think we left off on C on page 2.
I was gonna say,
They were number 12. Okay, we're on, item number 2 under 6A, correspondence out. Support letter for North Country Chamber of Commerce employee training programs, we do utilize them sometimes. I'm gonna go rather fast, so if you need me to stop, let me know. Memo, the department heads and tenants utilize new work order policy, we've just put that in effect. I don't know if my staff gave you copies of it, the memo went out, the work order's here. Archie and I and Chris met, we felt this was the best way to move forward. Anything you wanna say about it, Archie?
No, I got a copy here, if anybody wants to see what they look like.
we get a copy.
Yeah, that's what we got, it is. Matter of fact, we got copies from them, just changed the wording on them. And we'll keep you up to date how it's working, we're using them with department heads, tenants, and that way Chris knows how to schedule people and make things work, and what budget to take them out of, and those sort of things to work. So,
Did you turn the camera back on when we come out?
I did.
okay, business card solicitation, notes of interest. Chris, do you have a business card?
I do.
No, not you, but you? You should get one, because we're gonna do a new brochure that we're gonna put out for all Town of J businesses.
With the brochure,
Yep.
quick, Seth Rosenblum said that he would be willing to do the brochure for you.
Oh, okay, last time we did it here, but yeah,
He said he would be willing to do
Really?
it. Just get involved. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
He'd love to get involved.
Okay, but yeah, it's a free thing that we did it a few years ago with businesses, and we put all the business cards on a little brochure, and then we make hundreds of copies, get them out to all the businesses, and we put them in all public locations, so, and it really looks good, so if you wanna drum up some more business, give us a business card.
I'd rather drum it down, to be honest.
Okay, but,
Come over to the office and I'll
but-
make one for you.
we have been very well received on this, and everybody's very happy with it, and we're gonna do it. We plan on getting it out in April, in case you change your
I
mind.
think
so.
for a lot of people it'd be a great thing.
Thank you. We do, we have a lot of new ones, and it's gonna be nice, so we might do that. We'll see, but I mean, we're definitely doing it, it's just a matter of if we're gonna do it in-house or go out, but good. Okay, J. Blackbrook Youth Commission advertisement, we did put that back out there, we did get a few notes of interest. We're gonna hold a youth commission meeting soon, with the members that stayed, and let everybody know where we're at with that process. Letter to Blackbrook about scheduling quarterly meetings with the town board. First suggested meeting was Tuesday, February 25th. Ricky came over the other day, and they can't do that day. So they asked us to come up with 2 other days 2 or 3 other days that they can look at. Does anybody, I mean, it looks like we're gonna go into March now, does anybody have any particulars, what nights of the week are better for you and not? I know, Jerry, you have fire department meetings on some nights, right? Wednesday, any other time you got Knights of Columbus meetings too some nights?
Second Monday.
Second one, okay, so we'll stay away from some second Monday and then Wednesday. Away. And Wednesdays. For joint meetings. Okay, so we'll put a few dates together, send it over to them, it'll be in March sometime, but they're willing to, you know, they wanna, we're gonna do, so we don't get off track, we're, as you see in the letter, we're gonna, you know, pick 1 or 2 items, so we're not here for 5-6 hours and move on to then go fix those, fix those 2 issues or whatever, and go from there. They felt it was a good idea too.
It is a good idea.
We used to do it, so it'd be good. Letter to Blackbrook requesting payment for a joint sewer project, contract agreement provided by Blackbrook, we did that earlier. Did we approve the contract to let Dan?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
did that,
we did.
okay. Dog control officer, the advertisement went out, the dates to have them back out were to be returned by February 15th. So, Tommy and Amy are on that committee, we do have some back, they're gonna look at them, they're gonna call them, they're gonna do some interviews, and, we'll go from there. And I did call, the Department of Agriculture in the state, told them where we were at with it. Janet Collier, she did tell me as soon as we have a selection from the town board, to call her, let her know who it is, she'll come up and train them. So, but I did leave her a message yesterday.
As soon as we get somebody, I have to complain from person in the acres on Sunday about.
We have to,
So, whenever you select somebody, I'll give you your first phone call.
It'll be a little while though before, it's,
It has to be
if it-
before
It's not a big thing.
if it needs immediate action, I can get a neighbor in town, we had that the other day, so.
No, it doesn't, it's one that needs to be handled, but addressed, but not, it's not an immediate concern right
We
now.
will, well, we'll, if we decide on which one we like, we'll bring that to the next board meeting. Or-
Yes, yeah.
board approval.
Blackbrook did hire theirs on Monday night. They did hire a dog control officer on Monday night, so. Ricky did bring us over the check, I wanna say that, from the Blackbrook on the half of the sludge removal costs and the capital project. We have it in the safe at this point. Carol put it in the safe, until we sign the contract and they sign the contract, so we haven't deposited, it's just so we have it in hand. Dog control, did call Janet Collier. Accounts payable, tell them Jake, it's just a memo to department heads about getting their bills to us on time, so, we can have time to properly audit them. Letter to Marty Mannix, job recommendation for one of our constituents. Let's see. Letter to DEC about the DEC engineer on the dam, Taylor Pond Dam, they wanted us to attend a meeting, I can't go the day they rescheduled it for. I did send it back to them and I don't see, they had an emergency response plan that they shared with us, and it had us, responsibilities of the town of Jay, and I didn't like the wording, so I just said, you know what, we would like to be removed from your emergency response plan, it's not ours, but of course, in the event of an emergency, we'll be always willing to assist, but we're not responsible for anything for the dam that's owned by the DEC. It just amazed me that, imagine if we did that, and said, send a thing to the DEC and said, you're responsible for this. So, that, I just wanted you to see that. Oath of office updates, we're down to 1, and Archie, I'm gonna put you on this one, we need Doc Bremmers.
Okay.
All right.
I'll see him tomorrow.
That's the only one, we got the rest of them, I turned them all into the county yesterday, but we do Doc Bremmers.
Yeah, I'll stop and see him tomorrow.
Correspondence in, Water District inspection reports, they're here. I did fax it over to Mike Mascarenas because the one that we're trying to get funding for, move the water control building that we're trying to get fully funded, where we'll keep working on, so I faxed over to Mike, Mike's put it in our plan for grant funding. Hopefully we get that covered, I'm working on that with hopefully that might be something that could be considered for in the CRP program too, something we're looking at. All Civil Force Fire Department annual report, we need a resolution to accept. Darlene and Louis came over and met with me yesterday, so we make a motion to accept.
I never had a chance to look at it.
You have it? Okay. Do you wanna wait and do it next month? Okay, we can do that. Okay. Second page, New York State Homes and Community Renewal, request a report on housing grant, Apex submitted it on our behalf, just to update where we're at on the thing. On the grant, the $400,000 grant, where we're at with the housing assistance program. I gave you a copy of the All Sable River stocking report by Essex County, Stockfish on there for any reason. Contract from Essex County to use community center for elections. I should have gave this back to Dan tonight, but that's okay, leave it over there. Just basically, it's the same contract we've been doing the last few years, it just gives them the use of our facilities for the election. So I wanna move that.
I'll make it work.
Moved by Councilman Hall.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman McDonald. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion's carried. Email from Essex County regarding Stickney Bridge, and we will make this a public notice too. I just wanted you to be aware of it. Stickney Bridge is gonna be closed from March 3rd, and will be closed all the way to May 12th. And, so just wanted, we will put out a public notice, press release on it, but it is going to be closed during that time frame.
Sending one to the ambulance squad and the J Fire Department.
Yep,
Possible.
yep, we're gonna get it out to all the emergency services and everybody, state police too, and, just so everybody knows. But, inconvenience, but it was one of those ones that are highly affected from Hurricane Irene, and it was red flagged, and it'll be back up to weight. It was prior to the storm, even increased a little, I believe. Approval for Ragnar Relays to utilize the town roads on September 7th, they only wanna use it between, I think it's 5 AM and 5:30 AM or something, is the only time they got the 2,500 racers again, so it's, and they're using Clintonville School this year for the festivities where they used ours last year. So we just need to give them, they did send us a certificate of insurance too, so we make that motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Hall,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilwoman Schulten, under discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion's carried. New York State DOH report, senior site, that was, we had, senior site had one violation that we had fixed, and was regarding the ceiling. We did have it fixed in-house, we didn't have to go out, but that violation's been fixed. Stewart's Holiday Match, we did put the grant in, actually we didn't, Mike Mascarenas did it on our behalf for our youth commission. I think it was for a grant of, what did we put it in for, $2,500? We should hear back in March on that, we have been successful in the past, so. Essex County Soil and Water, they have put out their annual tree and shrub order form, if anybody is interested, we do have that. Adult basketball program, I gave you all the sheets so far, who's been playing, they are here tonight, I believe. And that's been working out very, very well as the new key selection. There are some people that are frustrated that they're not getting keys, and but it's working. I can tell you that I have not received one complaint that the lights are on, I haven't received one complaint that the door was left open, it's working. It's unfortunate that we had to take and I have been telling some people no. Chris and I told one no today. It's unfortunate, but the gym is still open from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. If it's a special thing and they need it for, they can call one of us and we'll get them in. You know, if it's a time frame. But having control again. And John Sheldrick saw me the other day and he says, Randy, I'm so glad, because he wanted the key for his senior nights, and he said, I'm so glad you did that. It's been needed to be done for over 20 years. so. I'm glad that we're doing what we're doing with key control. Grove Park, improvement project award announcement, $54,460, we got the announcement. I put Susan and Mike Masquerade in this, working on compiled the paperwork needed to proceed with this. What we're gonna end up doing after they get the initial paperwork in, we have been allotted the grant. We're gonna put a small committee together to oversee that project down in the Grove. Obviously, Chris will be involved. I did speak to John Nolan, and I think you did too, Archie, but John Nolan's gonna be on the committee, as he was one of the founders of the property to make it work, and John, saw John in Schroon Lake, and he's ready to go on that. So we'll probably have 2 members from the board with Chris and John, and maybe some other people, and then a couple members of the youth commission, just to make sure that the plan that we put in, that we're still following everything and making sure we're following all the rules and regulations, but hey, it's $55,000 that we didn't have, so. Essex County Homebuyer Program, this is a good program that, I have some information on here. HAPAC just put out, it's, for low to medium income families, have the guidelines, it's funds available through a deferred payment loan program, assistance to each family will be in the amount needed to make the home affordable. It's for new homes, and I do have all that here, so if anybody's interested, I do have the information.
We use that at the office.
Do you?
I have one going through now.
Good. Announcements again, some of our seniors are getting phone scammed again regarding insurance on some water lines that, again, it's a scam. Call it yourself and they'll hang up on you once you tell them you're a town official. It's a scam, and my mother got another call, Gene Musso got another call. These are calls that are trying to take advantage of seniors, and it's not needed, so.
Water line insurance.
Yep. So if somebody's reaching out to one of our residents saying that they have insurance to cover the water lines, and it's a scam, so please make sure that they call one of us before they do that, or talk to Chris. It's all a scam. Shut down. I thought this is the only way we're gonna be able to do this. We're gonna shut down on the 20th and 21st. Of course, if it's an emergency, we will handle emergencies, but we've got files all over the place, they're stacked all over paperwork, we need to purge, we need to have the actual time frame. We're probably gonna work 8 to 10 hours that day, each of those 2 days, and
What days of the week are those?
it's a Thursday and a Friday. And it's the only way that Susan and I and Carol felt we can actually move stuff upstairs. Tom's gonna help us, we'll move stuff upstairs, purge some files, throw some things away, shred some things, and it's just the only way that we feel that we just can't get the time to do it, so.
So the gym is gonna be unavailable as well, or are you gonna let?
Well, no, we'll let the gym be available, it's basically just in our 2 offices to
And the
make
2
that.
offices we shut.
Speaking of shredding, I've got several big bags of shredded town papers that I've been weeding through.
Yeah, if you want us to.
Can we get rid of those?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, send them down, we'll do them that day.
Well, it's all shredded, it's just,
Oh, yeah, we'll get rid of them, I'll bring them over to the county, yep.
I've been shredding, about another shredder just so I can keep going.
Yeah, we will do that, yep, if you use it. Upper J Fire Department capital project update, so far everything's moving along good, on time, within budget, and, still looking somewhere around Memorial Day or June opening, grand opening, and we'll be working with them to make that a special event. Just an announcement on Sable Forks Business District has created their own meetings. There's meetings at Mad River Pizza every first Monday of every month at Mad River at 7 o'clock, and I think it's good. All the merchants are getting together to share ideas. Editorial that ran in Adirondack Daily Enterprise, it was praising Tom Worthington for the job he did and the replacement they hired up there, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. New York Rising program is, there's a public meeting is for Keenan J, it's gonna be held Wednesday, February 26th at 6:30 PM at the Amos and Julia Ward Theater in J. We figured we'd get somewhere in between the 2 towns to make it, between all Sable Forks where we've been holding them, and the Keene Fire Department figured that would be a central location for both townspeople to come. Been working hard, I can't say enough about Scott and Vinnie and the committees that we have together from both towns. They've really put a lot of effort into this. resolutions needed, one I have here, we didn't do this previously, but I'd like to get it done, I know some of you have worked with them in the past, as I did, resolution to the of condolence to the family of Ray Thatcher, former Essex County Emergency Services Director. Moved by Councilman Hall, can I get a unanimous second?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution of congratulations to Dan Sinopoli for winning the Dave Bryson Memorial Award, I gave you a copy of what, Tony is his dad, sent down to us, he did a report, and I stuck it in your box too, Chris, on Stiles Brook. So it's just, he got a wonderful award for his report on that brook, so I just wanted to do a congratulations. Somebody wanna move that?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Shelton,
Nothing.
get a unanimous second?
Yes.
Unanimous, good. Thank you. Policy manual update. Hate to do this to you, but when I thoroughly went through it, I found 6 things that we needed to change, nothing major. They're all on sticky notes here. I'd ask you to take a quick look at them and give me approval and change them, because we really wanna get these out to the employees. There's 6 sticky notes, if you just pass it down and take a quick look at it. Some things that I caught when I was homesick last Friday and was going through it, and I caught 6 things that I thought that we should correct, and they're nothing that's gonna, we've already decided on them, it just, the corrections weren't in there, I just wanted, they're different from what I gave you last meeting, and I didn't want you to not have, the updated part of it, so there's 6 sticky notes, and if you have questions, I think I can answer them. Or I can answer them, I shouldn't say I think I can. Well, let's wait and see what the questions are.
He'll try to.
Yeah, that's right, I'll do my best, so, it'll take just a few seconds here to do that.
It's hard to find them, these little sticky notes you got. Could've got a bigger. sticky
I didn't do
note.
it, Susan did, how come you didn't say that to her?
Yeah, I got one question.
Okay, you got one?
Yeah, hold on.
That's okay.
Just have one up in there.
Pretty sure people will be happy, these are all updated, they'll all get them, they'll get a little note from us saying they have to sign for it. It's all updated with rules, regulations, everything is all updated, so it's really a good, matter of fact, I just gave Crown Point a copy of ours, cause they were doing it, I mean, we really got a good, we spent a lot of time on that. You remember that?
I remember that.
When it says okay next to it, it doesn't mean we had to do anything, I think. Oh, she's doing, oh, I can tell you here, we're doing away with that, we don't need those anymore.
Yeah,
We don't need who moved it or seconded it, we're taking that out of it. You know, it might say Councilman Hall and they amended it on that. We don't need that anymore.
So the only one I got
It
is
actually
here,
flushed
are
a
you
bunch of
adding
words
town
for me.
board or are you replacing?
There you go.
Town board?
They flushed the mic.
Well, we're doing it right now, it says premium payment for elected and appointed officials assuming after December 31st, 2006, elected or appointed other than town supervisor, highway superintendent, who assume office on or after January 1st, 2007, will be required to pay the full cost of health
We've done a
insurance
little
if
bit
they
of
have
groundwork
covered.
for 'em.
The only other thing is payment for elected officials and appointed officials in the town
Actually saving
board,
a little bit of money on this
because
whole contract.
what I think we're gonna need to do in the future is, because we found out that we legally can't compensate one board member different than the other, we did eliminate it from,
The fire hose.
we did eliminate it from the judges, we did eliminate it from the assessor, tax collector, but because you can't compensate, so what I say, I think we should do is, guys, just for a sec, please, just so I can explain this, what I think we need to do is, at some point, we're gonna need to set a date and say that no longer is anybody, because it's been challenged in court, and I know there's a village and there's a town right now that are doing it, compensated, and so the village ended up saying that we're not gonna compensate anybody, any of the village board members. So what I'm saying is, we need to add that back in there, that they are covered, because if we don't, it's either all or none on the town board. Because there, you can't grandfather, you can't say, elected official was elected here, but on such and such, if somebody was elected after that, such and such date, they can't get it, because you can't have a sitting board with two council people getting a benefit, the other, because then it's like, if the state considers it, that they're compensated differently than the other two, that's the issue.
So we just have to change these pages.
Just change those pages, yep, that's it.
Why would that be any different than somebody being hired on a certain date, and if somebody being hired on a different date?
You can do that,
They're getting a different,
you can,
benefit.
you can do it, you just can't do it for elected officials. Can't do it.
Because when you were elected on that date, that was the benefit. When you were elected on it, I think I challenged that in court.
You can't do it, there's
I would challenge that in court. I would get a lawyer and challenge that in court.
you can't do it,
That was a policy when you were elected.
can't do it. I just got done, you can't do it.
Keep it question asking
I'm
when we
good on that.
You can't, I gotta leave, I got it. Remember we did this a few years ago, and that's why we had to do what we had to do?
I had to read that with the 30 and 40.
Yeah, because
The
the
one
state law
right
says,
down
we have,
Says 30 and then it says less than 30. The word less is in that one.
because 30 hours is considered full-time now.
Yep, 30 hours or more.
That was the state,
Which one's that?
that 30 hours. I don't agree with that one, but I can do it, but,
That's state retirement. We're just following state regs on that one too. I can tell you two of the,
Do that over there. Get them straight right out. And then this one here.
hmm,
Pick up here, I know this is the one coming out. So,
mhm.
put that right there, and then this one here.
I know,
So, what's the tax map? I don't know what that is. What happened?
I know.
5, 12. It's not. On that, we're just, where it says okay, we're just eliminating that, that's all, nothing changed on there. Okay. So it wasn't much, but, the one was the one you were talking about, but I will tell you, and Archie, it is a good thing to bring up in New York when you're down there, but right, I can tell you, there's, the village of Saranac Lake was gonna do, 2 and 2, And then they found out that they couldn't compensate one different than the other, so now they took it away from everybody, all of them. The town of Crown Point is going through the issue right now. They did the grandfather thing, they're finding out, they are getting a legal opinion on it. But I did talk to them the other day, they're in the same situation, everybody is. Cause everybody wants to do the grandfather thing, but you can do it with your judges, you can do it cause you do it all at one time, you did it with tactical aid, you do it, those positions as elected assessor, you can do it, you can do it with anybody you want, but you can, because there's four of you, you can't compensate one different than the other. Cause one's getting paid more to do the job.
Somebody can ask that, I wanna ask down here.
Alrighty, so, somebody want to make a motion to approve these, and then we'll be able to get these out. Last amendment date will be as of 2/13/14.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman McDonald,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Shelton. Under discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Alright. Department head reports. Lee, you gave us two, you gave us one for December and one for January, right?
Right. I
Somebody
think
move,
December was given last month and it just wasn't voted on.
okay, so somebody wanna move on the report from the town clerk for December of 2013?
So,
Moved by Councilman Hall, seconded by Councilman McDonald, under discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, motion's carried. January report, I didn't have it on the agenda, somebody wanna move that one? There it is. Moved by Councilman Depot, seconded by Councilwoman Schultz, under discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, motion's carried. Okay, Chris, why don't you go and then I'll come back to the other stuff. Discuss sand screening unit. I gave everybody a copy of the Milton price here. Chris,
That was
yeah?
that was the price we put out the bid. He came back and, we accepted the bid, but we didn't award it. At this time, we have about 15% of sand left up in Jay. And we probably got 20% left down in Osable. I've been through the figures as trying to have somebody come in and screen 12,000 yards of sand. It's $3.50 a yard. And that's a total cost at each year of over $30,000. We have no screen plant anymore. I tried to get 4 different towns to go in on it with us. I'm not having any luck. It's either pay over $30,000 a year or purchase a screen plant. It's your pleasure. I did try to get 4 towns involved. I also can go the route of buying this off our CHIPS fund, which would put a damper on a little bit of blacktop this year. I can, it hasn't been approved by the state would allow me to buy this with our CHIPS money. Instead of putting 2 miles of road down, we'd probably be able to put a mile down.
so you only got one bid, ain't there?
That's all we got. We're gonna have to do something, and I don't know what you wanna do.
What's the lifespan on one of you guys?
Quite a while, over, I mean,
20 years,
yeah.
30 years?
I also talked to a few different towns to go in on it, and they, town of Wilmington was the last to opt out. I did talk to the supervisor yesterday, they're getting it for $4.50 a yard. And what used to happen, we used to give Wilmington the sand, and we used
Use the screen plan.
their screen plan that they had, but then it no longer works and you can't get parts for it, so
Right.
it's,
Well, under a little discussion, I'm willing to approve this, but under only one condition. And the condition is if we're gonna buy it, I'm not willing to share it with any other town.
I'm 100%.
Under any
I'm
circumstances.
100% behind you.
Under any circumstances.
I mean, I gotta
No
tell you,
shared services, I want to hear any shared services stuff or any of that stuff.
I gotta tell you, I've been awful frustrated with
We went through
thinking
this.
that, I could get somebody to go in on it, and
We went through this with the paver, we bought a paver, everybody loves us to use their paver,
but then they don't wanna help us with this.
that's right.
I get it.
And I'm a little bit, I'm not in favor of shared services 100% because it doesn't, somebody else loses on shared services. I'm willing to support this, but only on those conditions, and I want a resolution from the town board stating on that condition that we purchase it. It's not to be shared with anybody else, it's not to be used for any other town's purposes.
It's only gonna
We're gonna
expand the
make the
life of it.
investment, everybody else gonna get the use of it, I
Just
don't
to
wanna
put
go
it in.
that route.
That's it.
That's a
So
deal.
this just screens it, right? This is not doing crushing or anything like that?
No, screen sand.
Shakes it
It's
really
like an
well.
awful big machine.
Well, we can also put, shoulder root to it and screen topsoil. I mean, it would be something that would be benefiting us there too. But, you probably could put gravel through it and screen gravel. You probably could, with the right screens in it.
Doesn't that thing move around,
Mhm.
machine or something?
Pays for itself in 3 years, right? Is that what we
Pays
figured
for
out?
itself in three, 4 years.
Because I did the math, I had Chris come in and figured out, did all the math on it.
I figured it out too, and the way I look at it is, we use it for our own use, it's probably a lot
It's
more than that.
a long time
Well,
now.
if you're paying $4.50 $4.50 a yard, and we figured out how many yards are we using a yard?
We're using about, we put 6,000 up in Los Angeles, we put 6,000 up in Jay. The 12,000 yards at $3.50 a yard, it's just,
Yeah,
it's not,
This
it's.
is a used
so we're
one?
spending $30,000 a year, I'm saying.
Mhm.
This
At
is a
least.
used one?
No, that's what
No, it's used.
Oh, that one's used,
That's
the
used.
one from Milton.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know that either,
It's all
Chris.
six?
So
Oh,
6.
2006.
I didn't know that, Chris.
I just figured these were pictures from one that was being
Yeah, I
used.
didn't realize it either.
No. Where did, 2006? Holy moly.
Yeah.
Does it have like an hours counter on it? How long it's run?
1,600 hours. I don't think we can afford brand new. I
What's brand new run, roughly ballpark?
probably right around $250,000, $300,000.
Okay.
Wow, why are they so expensive?
They're expensive.
A lot of equipment on them things,
I
or?
was gonna say, put around there, put a few squirrels in there.
Well, this just ain't a screen, this is got a motorized.
Yeah.
Yeah, motorized.
Yeah. And the thing with this plant here is that we screen sand for roughly 2 months out of the year. This plant here will cut us down to 3 weeks a year.
So you're saving time.
We're saving time as well as
Is it like a relatively new model? We're not gonna end up in Wilmington's position where 20 years from now we go to get a part, or not 20 years from now, but 5 years from now we need a
Right.
part.
No, we're
Oh,
not.
sorry, it's this
Good
could be.
question.
Not perfect bad. I thought
It is,
you said it was-
it's relatively new to the point where they,
Yeah, they're making, yeah.
That one up there.
Good question. What's your pleasure, board?
I'll make a motion.
Award the bid? We did our due diligence on it.
Yep.
We did the math on it, we did, I guess I didn't realize it was 2006, but I figured out what it was gonna cost us. It's over $30,000 a year, $37,000, $36,000 a year it's costing us.
3
to-
years is gonna be paid.
3 years it's paid off. We were hoping that, I personally reached out to the supervisor in Chesterfield, personally reached out to the supervisor in Wilmington, and they have closer options. There's a provider right in Wilmington at $4.50 a ton, and they don't have the money in the budget.
but you gotta, and you also have to remember that Wilmington has roughly 30 mile road. I mean,
Right,
the town of Jay has 76 miles of road.
exactly,
You know,
Do a lot more stuff.
we have a lot, we use a lot more stuff.
right. All right,
Have they given you a warranty or
Yes.
anything?
Yeah, I'll get that for you.
Okay. Warranty of what the warranty
Yeah.
asks for?
somebody make a motion to accept the bid.
Jerry did
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Hall, seconded by, not to accept it, to award the bid.
To award it.
Yep, Councilman Hall, seconded by Councilman McDonald. Under discussion?
No. Is this guy budgeted, or are we bonding for this?
We're gonna have to borrow for it.
We'll either have to borrow or have to use CHIPS money.
Take it out of this money,
We
can't we?
use
For
the
this year?
CHIPS money,
I
well,
would say,
The
you
1 year?
have chips and money
I
in
would.
the last game.
You're not gonna do any paving?
He said he
We
could
could
still
do
do
roughly a
one
mile,
roughly just one.
roughly a mile.
How many miles of town road do we own?
We own, well, 20 dirt and, well, what's 20 from 75 miles of road? so
55 miles of
55
paved
miles
road.
of road roughly.
We're behind that as it is, though, and that's all I'm saying. You're taking 55 miles of road, that there's roads that need work.
So you're saying pave the whole thing with CHIPS money?
Mhm.
You didn't have to.
But you're gonna still be able to use this machine to help make up material to use on the roads as well, not just sand.
And then years from now, you'll have more money in-house to get back to the roads. I'm
I
sure it'll
think
get used for something
just
else, but.
The roads being safe with sand on them, with the snow and the ice that we've had this year,
We're in a bind right
that's
now.
worth one life right there, that's good.
Okay. I'm not in favor of the long-term borrowing, but I'm worried that it's gonna catch up to us if we don't start doing more miles of roads, on paved roads.
I agree with you.
We've got some issues out
I
there.
just don't know which way to
We're
go.
doing
My issue is we're gonna borrow for that, we're gonna borrow for a roof, we're gonna borrow for this, we're gonna do a lot of borrowing. We're gonna-
Give me another answer.
Well, I just gave you the answer, we do less paving.
Eventually, you're gonna pay for it. It might not be this board, but you're gonna pay for it, because there's a lot of roads that need
No,
paving.
no argument, but it's just for 1 year.
Yeah. You're
It's not like
gonna,
you're giving it up for.
otherwise, you're gonna pay $30,000 to get the sand,
Filter
Screen.
screen this year anyway.
I'm gonna vote against it then, because I'm not gonna vote for it if we're taking out CHIPS money, because I don't think it's best interest of the town. That's only me, so. I'm not supporting using CHIPS money to it.
Oh, is that a different vote, or is that a?
No, it's still,
No,
we're still under
it's still
discussion. I don't
Oh, I
feel
didn't know
comfortable.
if paying for it would be a totally different resolution.
Well, to award the bid, we're
To
gonna
award
award it,
the
you're
bid.
awarding payment. I mean,
Yeah, I've got to figure out where it comes from.
usually when we award a bid,
I think you're just under discussion on where you're gonna take it.
right. But if you're gonna award the bid, you better figure out where you're gonna pay it from, because we always attach it to the resolution at the county. I don't feel comfortable taking it from CHIPS. I don't. But that's just my opinion, that's not, nobody, not everybody has to agree with me, that's okay, I just don't. feel-
Believe me,
But
if I,
further down, he's looking for a truck and stuff too, how are you gonna
Yeah, I mean.
You
we
can't
got all this borrowing.
bond it all?
No, we're
believe me,
paying
if
off
I
the-
didn't
we're
have
paying
to,
off
if
the
I wouldn't have to ask for this.
We're paying off the excavator
No,
too.
I'm just saying, I'm just looking at reality, hey,
When's the excavator paid off?
We're gonna pay it off tonight, I'm gonna ask for a resolution, take it reserve and pay it off. We owe 30,000 on it, and we have enough in reserve account to pay that off, so. I think we should pay that, that's one thing I think we should pay off. That was the plan on the truck is beyond repair, it's got 200,000 miles on it. So. All right, so the resolution on the table then, Jerry, is to use it from CHIPS money, and Tommy to follow up with CHIPS money, and to purchase, the screen. Okay, so let's do a roll call vote.
Okay,
See?
Councilman McDowell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shelton,
I'm gonna say yes.
Supervisor Douglas.
No.
Councilman Depot,
Yes.
Councilman Hall,
yes.
and that's duly passed.
What else we got, Chris?
The bridge, Grove Bridge, I didn't make that meeting the other night, Randy, the Grove Road Bridge. I don't know why, I got called and said they were gonna meet on the bridge on the utilities.
Yeah,
and,
I didn't either, I
For
was
some
in town
reason, I
that day.
missed it. And, I looked over the, plans for the sewer main drilling
Mhm,
with AES. Everything looks good. They're gonna bore it.
mhm.
They're gonna use a rock drill instead of what we did for the water. So I think they're gonna be a lot more successful. So I think on our end.
So,
I think, well, it's being paid for by the county, so I mean, right, Randy?
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, and then that will take the sewer main off of that bridge, put it underground to the pump station across the road, and then the bridge will be, they'll be free to be able to, and I think there's some utilities that have to be moved too.
Well, that's the thing, I did talk to Kurt and Tony about it, they need some easements, from some of the property owners to move some power poles. Had Carol give them the contact information for the 5 poles that need to be moved. One is John Patino, one Charlin's, there's a few of them that would need to be, and, I'm not so sure they're gonna get those easements that they're looking to do to move those power poles, so I told them to beware of that. The problem is they need to bring a huge crane in here, and so possibility of moving them temporary or not, I asked Kirk this yesterday, they're gonna look at a lot of different options, but I'm not so sure they're gonna get all the easements that they're looking for.
I'm assuming that the engineer would, if we're putting that pipe underground, it's gonna change the elevation and pitch and all that pump is gonna be able to handle all those different pressures.
Yeah, as far as I know, yes. That's all gravity into that one right there, it should be fine. From this side to the other side,
To
it's
that.
pumping into the same manhole across the road. Or the same section of, so I don't think,
Well, I was thinking.
it's just going under instead of above.
You're creating elevation difference.
Right.
That's a good point.
So we need to make sure the pump will be able to.
I can
handle
check with AES
Yeah,
and find out.
that's a good point, cause I'm gonna need to know that before,
Right.
that's good, cause they plan on starting in April, so, and that's, being funded, that's an
that. Am I
appeal.
wrong in thinking that?
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense.
We're appealing that to FEMA when we go to
Yeah.
Washington, March 2nd through the 5th, but, we're appealing for that to be covered under FEMA, that project, but I'm not so sure we're gonna win that one. We lost on it a couple times on it, but it's still top priority. It's in the bond project for the county to replace the bridge, it's gonna be a 2-lane bridge. Discuss New York State DOT bridge replacement. Spoke with Jeff Fisher the other day from DOT, he's the engineer in charge of the project. We're gonna end up having a joint meeting, have him come up, sit with, Chris and, Black Brook, myself, and, discuss options, probably emergency